You're now listening to thecoalition.com.
Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? Coalition viewers, listeners, and readers and audience out there. This is the epic Jake James Lugo here, and I'm hanging out here with Tony Polanco, the newest addition to the Coalition family. What's going on, Tony? How you doing?
What's going on, dude? How you doing, man? We got a lot to talk about, don't we?
Oh, my God, son. Like, I thought today was going to be boring.
Yeah, and then this shit happens. Oh, my God.
Like, I thought today was going to suck. It was going to be like, man, today was just going to be boring at work or whatnot. And all of a sudden, just a gold nugget just kind of dropped on us, just to talk about. Not even a gold nugget. Kind of like.
Yeah, I don't think that's the appropriate term for this, man. This is more like a brown nugget.
Or a golden turd.
Yeah. And it's funny because I heard about this last night. One of my fans, I have him on Skype. He hits me up with it. He's like, hey, man, you guys going to report on this? And I look at him like, I don't really want to report on this. This is kind of seedy, But today I'm hearing more and more about it. And I mean, technically, we're not really reporting on it. We're just talking about it. But I'm like, yeah, we got to kind of talk about this.
The discussion is warranted. I think
the discussion is warranted, especially when I really thought about the implications. Because I read, I'm like, hold on, this says something about the industry. But before we start, fill everybody in on what we're talking about specifically.
Okay, so without going into big detail, because I'm pretty sure, like, especially within people that follow the industry and follow the gaming and whatnot, this has already been put in your face a bunch of times. And like, there's a ton of sources you could go to that find out like what the story is and get the nitty gritty details. So the short-ended version of this, okay? You got this person named Zoe Quinn, okay, who's doing this indie game called Depression Quest, which is a big indie game that's got covered in a few different spots. It's had a little controversy here and there and whatnot. But basically, I think it was about 3 days ago at the time of this recording, or 4 days ago, give or take. It was actually a thing was posted up. I believe it was on this this blog that was done by her ex-boyfriend, and basically her ex-boyfriend was pretty much outing her, for infidelity, for cheating, and stuff like that. Nothing that's of super importance to us right now, or not of super importance to you guys, the listeners, especially if you're gamers. What is of super importance, though, and what a lot of people are making a big deal about besides her infidelity, is her infidelity with a lot of people that are specifically industry folk within the game industry, including guys from, Kotaku, and a couple other people here and there from different places. And, it's a little bit seedy, it's a little bit shady. If anything, it kind of reminds me of a bad novella. Anything like
yeah, I mean, like even now I'm still like I don't want to talk about this, but here's the thing, and because I posted this earlier, so like I forgot the site I did because I didn't report on this obviously, so I posted a link about what happened and I gave a quick summary of what happened. I'm like, Zoe Quinn has cheats on her boyfriend with industry guys, and people got on my ass about it. You're angry, like, Tony, why are you posting that? That's her personal business. You shouldn't do that. And I'm like, if she had sex with random dudes, then I would be like, this is not news at all. Who
don't care? No F-skip.
It's her business. When it's industry guys, specifically a guy from Kotaku, that makes it newsworthy because as gaming journalists ourselves, this is about us. It really is. This makes us look very bad, and it makes us look as bad as traditional media because traditional media does this kind of shit all the time. Now we're doing this too.
I mean, here's the other thing, too. I think, again, we're going to get more deep into it and what the real story and real subject of the discussion should be with everybody.
Yeah, it's not what everybody thinks we're going to talk about. That is not the main subject here. It's something else completely that people are ignoring.
So listener discretion is advised. We're not going to talk about so much the affair, like the morality behind that, because, again, I guess it's her own personal life or whatever, but here's the big thing I want to start out with, and agree with me or not on this matter, okay? This only kind of validates the thing, no matter what industry you're a part of, you got to watch what you do. You got to kind of have a little bit of common sense and a little bit of mindfulness in your actions, because you never know when kind of like your actions will be put in the spotlight like that, and there's nothing you can do about it. Especially in the game industry, with people, again, if you're out there, you're a dev, an indie dev, part of an actual AAA company or whatnot, you constantly have that potential to be in the spotlight a lot, especially because gaming is such a big popular medium right now, big popular, pastime and hobby that, makes a lot of money, whatnot, and uses social media like crazy. You kind of got to be mindful and careful of what goes on within your life, and, both professional and personal. I think that, this is a perfect example that if you don't want your personal life put out there, well, not just be careful and just don't do anything to either put yourself out there or to make someone that, have the action to actually put you out there, whatnot. Because let's be real, okay? Let's be real in this matter that, I kind of don't blame the guy a little bit for being a little bit pissed about what he went through. Again, if you read the story and you read the original source blog, what went on with Zoe Quinn and her ex-boyfriend, you kind of, have a little bit of empathy and a little bit of sympathy for what happened to the guy. It kind of sucks. But again, how many guys out there have been kind of, put in like a position where they found out they were cheating, they were cheated on their, by their girlfriends, and they kind of went out and did something, either as a little bit of payback or a little bit of, rage, something kind of, help them get through the trying time that they're going through. But the way that it relates to this, though, okay, it only shows that especially within the game community, don't do something that's going to put you out there, or don't do something that, is really kind of make your situation a lot more worse, because especially in the game industry, with a lot of people that, cover it, and a lot of people that pay attention to it, every little thing gets magnified 1,000 times. Am I right?
Yeah, totally, dude, totally. It's like, you really need to watch your ass. You really do. Man. You can't just, it's like, yeah, literally.
We're more ways than one right now.
Yeah, and, yeah, the other thing is, you said it's kind of a little bit messed up. No, it's actually very, very, very messed up. Right. I mean, think about if that happened to you, man. But again, I don't want to focus on that part of it, despite how despicable and horrible it is.
Look, it might say volumes to her character or whatnot. Yeah. Even just looking at it as a professional or whatnot, I guess, one thing that some people can kind of gleam onto is that you got to separate your professional life from your personal life if you don't want the two to mix in, especially if you don't want aspects of your personal life spotlighted, especially in a field that's so heavy on social media and has such a radical, crazy fan base, if you will, or people that just follow it, because you have no control over that, and people are going to react the way that they're going to react. And we'll get into reactions later, because that's a whole other thing, outside of the two parties that were involved, or technically 6 or 7 parties that were involved.
Jesus, man.
I mean, hey, the list goes on, but I want to look at it as an industry as a whole. I want to look at the whole wide spectrum, not just of the people that are within the industry, within the big AAA sites, or, that are covering news or whatever, deciding not to cover this news, but also the audience. I want to talk about the audience, the people who are following this, and the people who are actually spotlighting this.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, this kind of situation, granted, everybody has their own opinions and whatnot. This just comes to show how kind of, not only super sensitive we are, but how much we like to kind of beat a dead horse a little bit. We kind of we want to look for every intricate detail, specifically as, not gaming press, but fans of gaming and people who follow the industry and whatnot, people that aren't necessarily working for a site, but are just, fans of the medium, whatnot. They take to their message boards and they take to their social media and they just want to spotlight every little single thing that's wrong, or they want to cry foul at every opportunity that they can. Because here's the big thing that's kind of got me a little bit annoyed about the whole situation. Granted, okay, it involved a guy from Kotaku, and I think that, there's some morality and there's some ethics that kind of come into part. But
that's the part that's getting me the most, but we'll get into that in a bit.
But the thing that gets me, the way that I look at it is that, okay, it's this one individual, and if anything, I think, from some of the stuff that I read, how the reactions, how he kind of commented on it, and especially also the way that Stephen Totilo kind of commented on it, because believe it or not, Stephen Totilo actually came out on Twitter, said that yo, I'm on vacation, all of a sudden the internet explodes, let me address this, and he kind of gave his opinion, or at least his professional opinion on the matter, which I think was classy, because the way I look at it, okay, it's just one individual isolated incident. If anything, one isolated person from that website, I don't think that's cause enough to demonize the whole website. Which I'm not. Yeah, and I don't, and I encourage people not to do that all of Kotaku. And that's the thing. I find that a lot, especially with the game industry, that every little thing is, whether it's because they disagree with a review or because they post a certain news thing that gets everybody heated, or a certain opinion piece article, they tend to demonize the entire website, which I think is wrong, because
it is wrong.
I mean, I've met Stephen Totilo in person. He's an awesome dude. And I know for a fact there's plenty of other writers and plenty of other people on staff over at Kotaku who are, again, morally and ethically on par with everybody else in the industry. And if anything, really good people. The same thing goes for any other big AAA sites. Just because, you're someone who has a problem or an issue or a difference in opinion with one aspect or one person's opinion or article or whatever, you can't really kind of blame the entire website, because a lot of people tend to come out and go okay, game journalism is dead, it's in trouble. Again, we were watching a video before, I think it was done by Total Biscuit or one of these other guys on the net that's kind of getting a lot of circulation around. And he's coming out and saying game journalism is in trouble, that, it's done, it's on a free fall and all this stuff, all the big sites, because they're not covering this, this and that and stuff. And I feel that's a little bit naive and a little bit overzealous to kind of come out and say, or kind of have that outlook on it. Because again, it's one isolated person or one isolated incident, that isn't so much, and that doesn't speak volumes to the whole industry, in my opinion. I think that it's the internet kind of having an overblown reaction, like it almost always does.
Yeah, but I think there is some credibility to what they're saying, though. That this video that you sent me, I think it speaks about the larger problem here, that gaming is turning into something we don't really want. It's all about the scandals now and about these people shaming the people that play games about their behavior. Yet they're out there doing this kind of stuff themselves, you know? They're shaming us about our, how we're immoral, yet they're doing all this stuff.
Yeah, but something, I think that also comes from the audience too, because I don't think it's just the personalities that are spotlighted like that, on different Twitter feeds that are screen capped and stuff like that, or articles or posts or blog posts that are written about them. I think it also comes from the audience itself too, and I think they kind of made it that way in a sense, because let's be real, almost every little thing that kind of gets spotlighted, whether it's good or bad, within the industry, is kind of dragged along and kind of, redone and reposted or constantly put out there multiple times by all the people that follow the industry, which are mostly the fans, the people that go to these websites and actually read about them and comment on forums and stuff. And I think that here's the biggest problem with this situation specifically, and why it kind of blew up so much. It's a combination of not only, again, people posting into stuff on Reddit and 4chan and stuff like that, and all these different forums and such. But I think also some of the reactions by some of these places and these outlets only just kind of added fuel to the fire, because let's be real, kind of like, with any sort of vice, when you try to put a law and regulate it on it, it's just going to cause people to kind of dive into it more and kind of
exactly.
Deeper. Specifically with this one with Zoe Quinn.
Zoe.
Yeah, with Zoe Quinn specifically, not only her actions, especially on Twitter feeds and even on YouTube, one of the videos that she actually had taken down because the guy was actually discussing it, and he had, that she really had no basis to do so or whatnot. But again, her going on and taking this action, the guys over on Reddit completely taking down the forum, or even some of the other spots again on N4G and stuff, the way that they're kind of getting it out of the spotlight or trying really hard to get people to stop discussing it, is going to cause people to discuss it and even look into it even more. To the point now, you got places all, different spots that only have screen grabs and different blog posts and different the text transcripts of everything that's happened, spanning from the original blog post that her ex-boyfriend did, which again just makes everything a million times worse.
Yeah, for real, man. It's wow. But I don't know. Like you say, that the audience is the one that looks for this, but I mean, I'm sure there are, but I still don't think the majority really do of gamers. They like stupid shit like 1080p and 60 frames. That's what they really want to see. I don't know about all this.
But you understand what I'm saying, though? I even was looking through that original Reddit feed, when I think it was Total Biscuit that started it and was actually talking about it at one point, and all of a sudden, not only were a bunch of comments were deleted just immediately.
Yeah, that's bad, right there.
But then even people were like, "Why are all these comments getting deleted and stuff? What's going on?" And then people started reposting stuff, and again, just added that fuel to the fire that just kept going and going and going and going until it's gotten to this point where now you got places like Eurogamer and a few other spots that are all covering this and stuff. And here's the other thing too. What do you think about some of the big websites like IGN, even Kotaku to an extent, that's not covering this?
Yeah, okay. There's two ways you could see this. One, and this is I don't know if this is the case, but maybe it is. It's too seedy, you know what I mean? It's too dirty and mucky, and they don't want to touch it. That's why I personally haven't written anything about it myself. I'm like, I'm here to entertain people. I'm not here to talk about this shit. That may be one reason. The other reason is they may know her personally in whatever capacity you think they do, and they just don't want to talk about it. Some of their friends are involved. They don't want to drag them through the mud. That may be the actual reason, but I'm hoping it's the first. It's just too salacious of something to discuss. And, just to be fair, all of this right now is still alleged. This is just her boyfriend going off on fucking WordPress or whatever it was, going off on this. He could technically be lying. He could be making all this up.
So here's the thing, though, and you're totally right. We pretty much have to say that's alleged.
Yeah, we have to say it because we're not here saying Zoe Quinn is a whore. We're not saying any of that stuff. We're saying, because like I said, I want to do this because I want to talk about just what this means for the industry in general, like the relationship between developers and journalists. That's a little too incestuous, if I could use that term phrase. But yeah, I want to make that clear. We're not here to attack this woman. It's not about that, at least not for me. But I think that's what it is with a lot of these sites. They're not covering it because they don't want to drag their friends through the muck either. That's what I think.
That too, and I also think that some of the bigger sites, especially like places like IGN, they don't really care so much for stuff like this because, again, I think that they're more busy covering other stuff like most of the other bigger sites would be, or any other decent website that's like actually looking for good content to put out there that's about the industry or about games in general. They really don't care about, the affairs and kind of like, the gossip and stuff that what goes on within the industry. Because again, game industry or game journalism is a very small field, one out of people, and like it pretty much, again, you could pretty much know everybody that knows everybody.
Yeah.
And word gets around really fast and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure that nobody really wants to kind of get involved in any much more of this stuff because, again, something like this gets out, pretty much you're kind of done. You're kind of, thrown through the mud for the most part, especially because how the internet reacts to everything. But whatnot, I don't blame them for not wanting to cover it. A lot of people, though, I think are naive to the point of thinking that because they're not covering it is that they have something to hide or have something that, their integrity is kind of put into question. I think that's kind of wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, while this story does have bigger implications, I'm not going to say you need to cover this. And I realize that's ironic because we are sort of kind of covering it right now. But yeah, covering. I'm not. If a site is not posting it, I'm not going to give a shit about it.
Yeah, well, the internet, or pretty much a lot of the gaming fan base, kind of makes it almost like they whine a little bit to the sense where it's almost mandatory that they want the big sites to cover what they want, rather than what the big site wants to feels like to cover. Just any outlet in general, because they everybody or at least one of the big arguments was all the big resolution stuff for the longest time, that people were complaining about between most of the consoles and whatnot, and not only. A little bit, I guess you could say some of the bigger sites covered it to an extent, but that wasn't like the topic of the week 24/7, if you know what I'm saying.
No, it isn't.
If that happens constantly where every major website or was a lot of the different outlets bending backwards to the will of like the internet populace or whatnot, it'd be a really weird field and a really weird, content cycle or whatnot. Because it'd be kind of sad in general. But overall, like I said, I think it's a little naive and overzealous to kind of, question the integrity of the different spots that are covering this. Because there is a story there, but necessarily maybe it's not important enough of a story or something that they really care enough to actually look deep and dive into.
Yeah, but like I said, it could just be because it's not in stone yet. It hasn't been really proven yet. That's the official reason why you wouldn't want to cover this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the official thing, and that's why I'm not doing either, because it's right now it's just this dude's word. But again, given this woman's history, I personally believe it.
I don't even think it's the history. I think that, again, if you go look at that actual website, the actual thing that he posted, I think that when you have like transcripts of like Facebook messages and like text messages and stuff, it's a little hard to kind of come out and say like allegedly at this point. It's like that's that funny court lingo, or that kind of like that that O.J. Simpson reason.
Yeah,
it's a little weird, but overall, the big overarching issue is not only the reaction of the internet and the reaction of the gaming populace or whatnot, but also kind of the question of morality is like, is it really kind of fair to kind of judge the industry as a whole, or judge most of the major outlets within the field as a whole, and kind of question their integrity based on one instance? Because here's the big thing. They're comparing her to, was it Anita Sarkeesian? Or not, because I guess she sympathizes with the cause or whatnot. There's a lot of connections.
But I'm not going to go into,
Yeah, there's a lot of connections that sometimes a lot of people on the internet try to tend to make. And again, it kind of gets widespread out of control rather than what's the issue at hand or not. And I feel that the issue at hand is that, okay, is it really fair to judge not only the integrity of a place like Kotaku, but is it fair to judge the integrity of the field just based on one instance? And I don't think so.
No, it totally isn't. What people should be worried about is, how trustworthy do you find some of these outlets that they're doing shit like it's behind the scenes? This is just happening. That's just human nature.
That's the thing, though. I don't even think it's fair to kind of make that inference, though, because
I personally think it happens in other fields. I think you can too. So how much can you trust these people? Let's bring us into the case. What if this happened to us? somebody offered us money or sex or whatever for a positive review, and then we went ahead and did that, that would make us lose our credibility to our fans. Understand?
Of course, and if it gets out there. But I think also the big issue of it is like, again, like if something like that happens, or again, if there's something that you don't want to get out or whatnot, don't put yourself out there to actually have it get out there.
Yeah.
Which is, again, the biggest issue, the biggest part of this entire issue is that, because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's her personal life, no places should be covering and stuff like that. I was like, well, you know, any other news outlet, if something is put out in front of you and it's like a giant elephant, you're not going to not acknowledge that the giant elephant is in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, at the same time, like I said earlier, if she was just having sex with random guys, then yeah, I'd be like, you know what, leave that woman alone. Let her fuck whoever she wants. So like the cheating thing is bad, but let her do what she's gonna do. That's her personal life. When it's gaming industry people, yeah, then we should.
That's a question worth asking. I think the questions are worth asking or whatnot, which is fine. Okay, yeah, again, it's all within the realm of choice for different places if they want to ask that question, which I think is cool, which I think is great for you know whether they cover it or not.
Yeah, exactly, man. But like I said, I think this is probably going to go on for maybe the rest of the weekend. Then they're going to sweep it under the rug, and won't hear about it again, unless it's people like us. You know, I don't
really think that a lot of people are going to talk about it for very much.
No, they're not.
In actuality, because again, it's like one of those hot like TMZ gossip things that just
it really is like that. It really is
something though. Okay, and here's the other thing that like kind of like makes it that much more worse. Again, is adding fuel to the fire. Let's talk about the reaction of Phil Fish, because Phil Fish.
Yeah, let's talk about that. This guy's a character, man.
Phil Fish, has just not been on the best receiving end for a lot of this, like a lot of what's going on. Whatnot, just in general, between the cancellation of Fez 2 and just his reaction to the public in general. Again, just adding fuel to the fire. Like I went and read an actual screen cap of his Twitter feed, because I think most of the tweets that he did was deleted. But he was talking about this, and he was basically, calling out a lot of the gaming public and how they react. And he basically was saying a lot of nasty things about gamers. Not the best idea if you want to get people on get on people's good side.
I don't think Phil Fish cares about getting on people's good side, man.
I don't think Phil Fish cares about anything at this point. I mean,
this guy's out. I'm sorry, man. Like, and not just about this in general. Phil Fish is crazy. He really is. Like, look at his tweets. If he hasn't deleted them already.
No, he's deleted them. Clearly, he's deleted them.
This guy is unstable. Like, I understand why he never got to finish Fest 2. He is nuts, man. And he is out there just dissing, like, everybody, calling them, like, brainless monkeys, like, friendless losers. I'm like, dude, really?
This is my point. Like, this whole thing is a prime example of like the worst of the worst unprofessionalism in the industry. Not only just on the way that you react and act out in public, but just the way that you kind of handle yourself and the actions that you take and stuff. Again, between Zoe Quinn and her and just everything that she's done has made it worse. But even Phil Fish just kind of making it worse in a sense, but whatnot. Because again, he just kind of just adding fuel to the fire just with his own random opinion when he really, he really shouldn't matter. Because I guess he's kind of adding his stuff in there because it's an indie dev or whatnot. I don't really know or care if he knows her personally or whatnot. I don't think that's the big issue. But but the big issue though is him coming out and pretty much attacking gamers. Just for
and he was not supposed to do that. It's like, dude, you don't do that.
He's out and going like, I just canceled all these projects you guys didn't know about. I canceled this one, canceled this. Was like, really, dude?
Like, who the fuck cares? I'm sorry, dude.
I mean, seriously. And then it's even funnier how some of the people react to him. It's like, dude, you're a one-trick pony or whatever. It's like, it's just messy all around. And I think that's partially his fault for, again, just...
Oh, yeah, that is his fault because he's being Phil Fish,
He's like the Gary Busey of the gaming world. That's what he feels like, almost. And like Zoe Saldana right now feels like the Tila Tequila of it all. It's just a mess.
You say Zoe Saldana?
I'm sorry, Zoe Quinn. I'm sorry, Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I love that woman, man.
That woman is amazing. What I meant to say is like Zoe Quinn feels like the Tila Tequila of the entire gaming industry.
Well, I'm not going to go that far. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to say anything about that woman specifically, but just this whole situation. This is, we do this video gaming shit for fun, and now we're getting TMZ shit mixed into our video games, and it's not cool.
Yeah,
it really isn't
cool. It's definitely not the best thing. And if anything, like the news we should be talking about, nobody cares right now at this point because again, it's the public and the general like majority of the people that are out there listening to this stuff or following the history is what makes it important. Like nobody cares at this point that Destiny is only a couple weeks away.
Yeah, why don't we talk? Let's talk about fucking Destiny. I don't want to talk about this shit.
Or talk about any of the other big releases that come out. Like Tales of Xillia 2 just came out not so long ago and stuff like that. Nobody or not a lot of places are talking about it. But again, it's the public that really kind of makes what's like the new hotness and the new trends and hot topics of debate at this point. And it's kind of it says a lot about us as an industry because we allow this to happen. We're the ones that kind of like are reacting to all the news or whatnot. Like, if anything, nobody should have really given a damn about this, or again, just asked a little bit of the question of morality, because it was with Kotaku or whatever or whatnot. But again, I think it's all our fault for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not willing to go that far. I think it's more the guys up top that are more to blame than us.
I think specifically it's the people that are involved's fault, because again, if you allow yourself to be put out there, what are you going to expect the reaction that's going to happen? People are going to have an opinion or whatnot. But I think that, at this point, maybe, us as an audience, or just people in general as an audience, should maybe take a little bit of, caution or a little bit of discretion in how they prioritize, what we should be talking about, what's important, or what, is important to them. Because, like I said, it sounds like a bad novella.
It really does, man. And I'm guessing some more shit is going to come to light. And it's like, we should be talking about other stuff.
I hope so. I mean, I hope not, more stuff.
I just hope we don't come off as hypocrites because we should talk about other shit, and here we are doing a podcast talking about this shit.
True. But like I said, I guess talking about the big discussion of what, how it makes us look, or how it really kind of makes us all look foolish in general, the whole situation. Yeah. Okay. But again, I don't think that the main issue is that we shouldn't question the integrity of the entire field based on one instance. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay, yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. My thing is, if you're a gaming journalist, you really should you should have more a higher moral code, basically. This is not good stuff, and I know this sort of stuff happens. I'm not saying every single journalist does it, obviously not. Most are good moral people, but this is not good, and but I'm not going to talk about this woman. I really am not, because I'm not trying to get into there. But to me, it was just like when I heard about this, and just because I am technically a gaming journalist, I was like, wait, whoa, that's bad. It's like you're doing something unscrupulous here, and you're getting away with it. That's not cool. You shouldn't do that. I don't trust you anymore. Basically, this kind of shit makes our audience not trust us anymore. That's the way I see it.
And we all look silly.
Yeah, we all look silly. We all look fucking horrible, So, because the thing is, I feel that, I could be wrong about this. I feel that gaming audiences trust game reviewers more than movie audiences trust movie reviewers. I mean, look at every Transformers movie. They all get shitty reviews. Everybody goes to see them. When a game has a shitty review, nobody buys it. There's a certain trust that we have that's more than other medium. And we still do this kind of shit. That's what I mean. It's bad. I
kind of agree and disagree with that. I think a lot of that also just comes down to blind loyalty, as not so much as trust. I think there are those trustful resources out there, different reviewers or different outlets that provide reviews. But I think sometimes that the field of people that are just into gaming just tend to have a little bit of a herd mentality. Like they just go with whatever they're going to go with, or what the majority is going with.
Yeah, that's also true.
Blindly. Sometimes I think that's what one of our bigger issues are. But I do totally agree with you. Sometimes maybe they get a little bit much more results as compared to other reviewers on other mediums like movies and such, or even
basically a reviewer has more power in this industry than a movie reviewer does within the movie industry. If Siskel and Ebert didn't like a movie, people would still go see it. If Siskel and Ebert were video game reviewers, anything they give a thumbs down to would not get bought.
True. True. I think, but you also got to agree with also every little thing that happens within our field, a lot more so than others, gets spotlighted.
Yeah, it does, because as you said, we're a small field. I know gaming is big. I know gaming makes literally billions and billions of dollars every year, but it's still small. When you go to events, you always see the same dudes. It's very small. So you're right about that. Whenever anything happens, it does get blown up significantly.
Definitely.
Like this. Exactly.
Yeah, like this. Exactly.
I mean, think about it like this. Look, think about it like this. The big sites are not covering this, and it's already blown up.
ridiculously blown up.
It's blown up. So it shows you how close or small our community is. Even you just have independent guys and reporting this. And even the big independent sites are not reporting it. We're not reporting on this. So that, but it still gets out there, I guess technically we are now, but you know what I mean.
Well, again, it's not reporting as much as it's discussing.
Yeah, we're discussing, but we don't have a technical thing. Jake James Lugo writes, and there's something like that going on at the coalition. But yeah, you're right.
Like 3-4 articles discussing the saga.
Exactly. But exactly. But yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
part 2.
But yeah, the big sites are reporting on this. The big independent sites are reporting on this. But just people on forums, just their power, because this is on NeoGAF as well. That alone was enough to bring it to the forefront.
That's the power of the forum user, the power of the internet.
Exactly. Very interesting. I'm interested to see how this all plays out, and I'm really interested to see how the big sites cover it, because they will. Ben Kuchera is going to write something about this.
Well, here's the thing. With Kotaku specifically, Steven Totilo already made a comment on it, and he talked about it. If anything, I kind of feel bad for Steven Totilo, because the man tries to go on vacation for like a week, and the whole internet blows up. It's just funny when you think about it like that. But also, I kind of don't blame him for not really kind of like going, saying much more than what he already said, because again, he's kind of coming out of it from like the outside, and he has to look at it as like, okay, well, everybody's talking smack about my outlet. Let me ask the questions, and he's obviously going to go with what his writer's saying, because
he's going to protect his writer, and to that extent, I could respect that. You want to stick up for whoever works under you. I understand that. I don't know what
there was anything in the case, or like anything outside of the case or whatnot. There was any other like unethical stuff going on. He probably would have like came on and said like, we dropped him like a bad habit, like because that's happened before. We've heard of stuff like that, in the past. Yeah,
because apparently his relationship happened like before or after the game. Like it wasn't during it.
No, it's like something way after the editorial that he wrote on Kotaku. It was basically a preview of was it Desperate Quest, or was it Depression?
Depression Quest.
Yeah, something like that. It was like sometime afterwards or whatnot, which again is fine. I mean, nobody really cares about that. I don't think anybody.
Yeah, and like what, if he was having sex with Zoe Quinn, whatever. But he shouldn't talk about her games. That's my thing. That's reaching something. Yeah.
I think that's fine, and I'm pretty sure that's what Steven Stillo pretty much came out and said. It's like, okay, yeah, I kind of trust him, and he already assured me this is what went down. So
that's what this one girl on Twitter said to me. She was like, "Hey, people in the industry date each other all the time. Why are you getting mad about this?" I'm like, it's not about dating. It's about covering shit like this. Like, if I have sex with some industry woman, right? I should not be able to talk about her games, because there is conflict.
You can't be objective. Yeah, there's a conflict of interest, really.
No, that's what I mean. Like, if you have sex with somebody in the industry and you write about their game, that's a problem, and that's where I get mad. If you have sex with someone in the industry and you don't talk about their work, you will keep having sex. That's your thing. That's where I'm coming from. It's like you can't I know there's going to be relationships within the industry. Like I said, there's a very close industry. It happens. People are just going to hook up. That's human nature. However, if you do that, you have to be objective with stuff. That's just what I'm saying. That's what bothers me the most about this whole thing, that this is happening. And this story just got brought to the spotlight. This is happening behind the scenes. So it makes me question, which of these guys can I actually really trust? That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I understand that. Personally, for me, I'm not as skeptical as you are, for whatnot, because again, looking at the industry as a whole, I already feel like there's enough integrity from a lot of different places that this type of thing, like there isn't no question of morality, or like no like silly business going on with a lot of places. At least the places that I trust in and the places I follow. I just look at it as more as an isolated incident, and I like the way that kind of Steven Totilo kind of handled it. It was like, yeah, this is what happened. He showed me this, end of story. Enough said. Again, it all goes back to, being a little more vigilant in your own personal life, not getting out there, and being prepared for the consequences of it with your own actions.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm the way I'm going to be, and I still I'm like, I got my eye on you guys.
Also, Kotaku. I don't care about that. I like Kotaku stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I like Kotaku too, but on the other hand, I'm like, and you're right. Let's go back. Don't demonize an entire website for the actions of one of its writers. That's wrong. But at the same time, I look at some of these guys and I'm like, Can I trust you? You know, that question is there, and it shouldn't be like that.
Of course, definitely, you're right. Definitely.
You know, but yeah, you know, like I said, we'll see how this, you know, evolves. But I suspect this will be the one and only week you hear about this. I think this is stamped out fast.
But then once Destiny comes out, nobody will care. Everybody will be like,
that's it. Yeah, it's over, you know?
They'd be like, don't bother me, I'm playing Destiny right now. Pretty much. That'd be old news.
Yeah.
Either way, I guess, you know, we'll kind of wrap this one up, you know.
Yeah.
It was an interesting discussion, little interesting, you know, tackling of ethics, morality, integrity, journalism, the
all
industry.
that stuff.
Even Destiny. Look at that. You guys got a little bit of everything and whatnot.
That's what we do at the Coalition, man.
Of course. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting that name on this. I'm calling it Quinn-gate. Like, this is just funny. Like,
all right, yeah, go for it, man.
It's going to be awesome. But anyway.
So, yeah, I just want to see the comments. We're probably going to get a lot of shit. And the funny thing is, we didn't talk shit about anyone. Not really, except Phil Fish, because he's insane. But other than that, we
get those Phil Fish. Get those Phil Fish loyalists. That's what happened. Those Fez fanatics.
Yeah, but yeah, we did want to bring this to you in a way that wasn't sensational like a lot of other people. I'm not here to blame really anyone, but I will say people literally watch your ass,
yeah.
You know, when you do anything on the internet.
Of course, if you guys want any more information about this, you know, just go on the internet and go on Google or Reddit or whatever, and you can find, again, plenty of information about this, you know, details, whatnot. Again, like I said, once Destiny comes out, nobody's going to get it.
Yeah, it's over.
It's a wrap. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys. You know, thanks for Tony for chilling with me, talking about this.
Definitely, man. Anytime, man. This shit was fun. You know, I like that. This is what I love doing. This like, yo, we got to talk about this. Get it on a podcast. Bam.
Boom. We got shit raw, unedited, right? Straight to the face. You know, like what's that guy from was it Chappelle Show comes out? He's Darrell Williams or Darrell Rawling or something.
Oh yeah, Donnell Williams.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, next time hopefully we do this. Hopefully it's about a game that's like completely awesome.
Yeah, for real, not this bullshit.
Or, you know, God forbid, like we have to talk about something like the Vita's funeral or something. That would suck.
Oh,
really bad. But either way, thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back again, you know, hopefully on the Co-op or one of the other editors and stuff on the Coalition. Be sure to check out all our podcasts between the Coalition, Knights of the Turntable, and everything else that we have on the Coalition.com, and our reviews. I know lately we got a couple new reviews that are up on the Coalition, right?
We got some good stuff there, man. And I should say that starting September, we'll be having like 3 new podcasts. Actually, excuse me, 2 new podcasts, because spoiler alert is now officially a part of the Coalition. We started that today, and we're going to record that. Yeah. We got some good stuff coming for you guys.
You know, Sin City's coming out, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was supposed to be the first spoiler alert, but then I was like, hey, let me bring out the old spoiler cast of The Last of Us, because Last of Us has just been released and it's still relevant. Yeah. Like, let me throw that up there, you know?
Yeah, at least some good stuff going on in the industry.
Yeah, there is some good stuff. But yeah, we you know, Coalition, we're going to be hitting you people hard soon with all the good stuff.
Nice. Can't wait. So either way, thanks again, bro.
All right, man.
All right, so we'll talk to you guys again real soon. Peace out. Stay epic, everybody.
Peace, people.